Hi, I'm Christina Johnson, Associate Curator of the Fitta Museum. I hope you're all doing okay. Fitta Museum staff is currently working remotely, which is why I'm not standing in storage where you're used to seeing me. Instead, I am standing in front of one of my bookshelves at home. We've missed doing unboxings and connecting with you that way, and I thought, let's try an unboxing at home. It just so happens that this week is my wedding anniversary, and I did wear vintage. Here's a photograph from our wedding day, and you can see that I've put the image in an Art Deco frame. My wedding gown dates to about 1934-35, and my husband's tie also dated to the late 30s. I'd like to show you how I store it. This is an archival box. You can buy them from reputable companies. I have a little bit of tissue in here too. I don't store it hanging because it's bias cut and would stretch, and that is never reversible. Here's the gown unboxed. It's silk satin, and I really loved the covered up look, but because it was bias cut, it was still form revealing. It's kind of hard to tell, but this is the center front neckline, and it's a cowl neckline. It's draped, and inside there is a little weight to help it drape nicely. The gown was mostly made by machine with some hand finishing details like these covered buttons and button loops. The reverse of the gown, and here's the bodice, with a standing ruffle at the nape of the neck and some braid trim, so I could not get the ruffle to stay standing, and I ended up double stick taping it on my wedding day. Let's look at the reverse of the gown because there's a lot of fabric to see. I purchased this from a dealer whom I love, and he knows me really well. He sent me 2 gowns. This one fit perfectly, didn't have to alter it at all, so my say yes to the dress was easy. Interior train, major seams, done by machine, and then someone worked really hard on this rolled hem. This was probably made by a home dressmaker using commercially produced paper patterns. I store my wedding accessories in this plastic storage bin, which is not ideal, but it's what I have. Plastic outgasses and can embrittle the materials inside. From the moment I started planning my wedding ensemble, I knew I wanted to wear wax orange blossoms in my hair, and I started looking on eBay and Etsy. These are amazing because they're dead stock. They came with the original tag. Orange blossoms have been aligned with bridal symbolism for centuries in many different cultures. In 1840, Queen Victoria chose to wear fresh blossoms in her hair for her wedding and popularized their use for later brides in the Western world. For the bride of the late 19th century, early 20th century, fresh orange blossoms were not always an option. They weren't always in season. And so wax blossoms began to be made. They were more affordable, and the wax version really does look like the real thing. The wedding veil, given to me by a dear friend, probably dating to the late 1930s to the 1940s. It's machine embroidered net. A view of me from the back on my wedding day, and you can see how I'm wearing the veil. You can also make out those wax orange blossoms, and the last thing I'll be talking about today is my bouquet. Here are my parents on their wedding day in 1976. Nice suit, Dad. Take a look at the flowers in my mom's hair. Her mother wore the same flowers in her hair on her wedding day in Los Angeles in 1942. Well, my grandmother's mother also wore the flowers on her wedding day in 1903. You can see my great-grandfather wears a bunch as well. They're silk flowers, and as a historian, I was determined to be the 4th-generation bride to wear these. Sad story now. Before my mom's bridal shower, she gave the heirloom flowers to a friend to freshen up, and the friend decided that spray painting them white would be a good idea, so they were no longer soft and silky. Mom, it's okay. Don't feel bad. I actually ended up incorporating the antique flowers into my wedding bouquet. You can see them here among the fresh ones. There they are. So I was so happy to be able to include these family heirlooms in my wedding.